Every day, thousands of people walk past pilots in airports without giving their uniforms much thought. The polished jackets, the wings, and especially the stripes on their sleeves might seem like simple traditions, but those small details actually reveal something important about the person wearing them. Hidden in those lines is a system that has guided aviation crews for generations, showing experience, authority, and responsibility before a single word is spoken. So what do the stripes on a pilot's uniform actually mean, and why do they matter so much? These stripes are more than just decoration, because they connect to the way pilots are trained and how flight crews operate together. Let's find out the real meaning, right here, on History of Simple Things. The stripes on a pilot's uniform are mainly used to show rank and responsibility. In most commercial airlines, the number of stripes on a pilot's jacket sleeve or shoulder epaulets indicates their position within the cockpit. Although the exact meaning can vary between airlines and countries, the general system is widely understood throughout the aviation industry. A pilot wearing more stripes usually holds a higher rank and greater responsibility. This system allows crew members to quickly recognize each other's roles, especially during important moments when communication needs to be clear. The stripes are not meant to show status alone. They help create structure, organization, and teamwork inside the aircraft. The most common stripe system used by commercial airlines gives 4 stripes to the captain, who is the pilot in command of the aircraft. The captain has the final authority over flight operations and is responsible for major safety decisions from takeoff to landing. A first officer, also known as a co-pilot, usually wears 3 stripes. Despite the name, the first officer is not simply an assistant, but a fully trained pilot who shares many responsibilities with the captain. Both pilots monitor instruments, communicate with air traffic control, and operate the aircraft. The captain and first officer work together to ensure that the flight runs safely and efficiently. 2 stripes can have different meanings depending on the airline, but they are often associated with junior pilot positions or pilots still gaining experience before moving into higher roles. However, this system is not identical everywhere. Some airlines no longer use a 2-stripe position because modern pilot career paths have changed over time. Other aviation roles, such as flight instructors or flight engineers in certain operations, may also have different uniform markings. This means pilot stripes are not a universal rule that applies exactly the same way around the world. Instead, they represent a shared tradition that airlines adapt based on their own organizational structure and history. The tradition of pilot stripes comes from older military and maritime influences. Early aviation borrowed many ideas from naval uniforms, where sleeve stripes were used to display rank and authority. As commercial airlines developed, they adopted similar designs to create a professional image and establish clear leadership within flight crews. Aviation requires careful coordination between pilots, cabin crew, ground teams, and air traffic controllers. So having visible signs of responsibility became valuable. A pilot's uniform became more than clothing. It became a symbol of training, discipline, and trust. Those simple lines on a sleeve became a way to communicate a pilot's role before they even entered the cockpit. The stripes also represent the long journey required to become an airline pilot. A captain's 4 stripes do not simply come from spending many years in the industry. Pilots must complete extensive training, earn the proper licenses, build flight experience, pass evaluations, and demonstrate that they are ready for greater responsibility. Becoming a captain usually requires additional airline training and testing because the role involves making critical decisions. The stripes represent the trust placed on that pilot, since the captain is responsible for the safety of everyone on board. They symbolize not just experience, but the preparation and discipline needed to handle complex situations. Although the stripes are one of the most noticeable parts of a pilot's uniform, they are only one piece of the larger picture. Other details, such as pilot wings, badges, and uniform styles, can also provide information about a crew member's role. The wings generally identify someone as a pilot, while the stripes help show their position within the flight crew. However, the number of stripes does not determine a pilot's importance or ability. Every pilot on board contributes to safety, whether they are a newer first officer or an experienced captain. Aviation depends on cooperation, where every person has a responsibility that helps the entire system work. The next time you see a pilot walking through an airport, those stripes may look like a small and simple detail, but they carry a much deeper meaning. They represent years of training, countless hours of preparation, and the responsibility that comes with guiding an aircraft through the sky. A few lines on a uniform reflect a much larger system built around teamwork, trust, and safety. Aviation is filled with details that most passengers never notice, and these stripes are one example of how much thought goes into every part of a flight. What seems like a simple design choice is actually a symbol of the people who help make every journey possible. It is a reminder that even the smallest details can represent something much bigger than what we see at first glance. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.